the Project Hope in Marshall County Hope.
So talk a little bit about recoveries. What kind of recoveries are we talking about here?
So we work currently with people who struggle with substance use disorder, working through their recovery. That comes from anyone in the community, recovery homes, people coming out of inpatient, people coming out of incarceration. And I also do, I work with teens as well, and I try to do some educational classes throughout the summer for teens.
And so where are you guys located?
We work around the community. We go to people's homes. We have a building that's unmarked and unlabeled on Jefferson Street that we meet people at. We meet people at the park. And we try to make it as convenient for people as possible with the barriers that people who are struggling have. Some people don't have transportation, so if we go to them, it's easier for them to get our services.
So this is actually a real big event for you guys.
Yes.
And can you give us, the times and everything? It's going to be Saturday, correct?
Yeah, Saturday, September 14th at 1 o'clock at the Plymouth High School.
At the Plymouth High School. So that's next week.
Yep.
Yep. Doors open at noon, and the tickets are $5 a piece. And
What can we expect?
We will have food. We will have, so a paddle auction is just, we have a bunch of items that local businesses have donated, and we auction them off for a quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, or 4. But that's really all we do. We're doing there.
So you guys, the community support seems like it's been there for you, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Now, okay, do you guys have you don't have a centralized location where you work out of, do you?
So we were employed through the Bowen Center.
Okay.
And the Community Foundations building houses all of the funds that we have.
Okay.
So
There you go.
yeah.
That's cool. Now, I don't think it's any secret. I mean, the addictions are real. It can be anything anymore, it seems like. But there seems to be, we hear that dreaded word fentanyl, and unfortunately, it does hit home. It does exist in our own backyard, despite how Mayberry we want to, think we are. We're not. And, unfortunately, I used to work in behavioral health care. I did for, I think, 3 years. It was bad then. It's probably even worse now because it's so much more easily acceptable to get, So how are you guys, have you guys had a history with addiction to provide, the experience?
Yeah, I've personal lived experience through addictions. I'll be going on 7 years sober come February.
Nice. Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
huge. And I want to tell you, there's nothing, how do I say this? The message is more, I don't want to say necessarily meaningful, but there's a bond that you reach with someone who went through the same experience that you are, that you did. And you become an example of, hey, you can do it.
Yeah, like I can do it, you can do it too. That's the biggest part of us being a peer is, we're not above the people that we work with. They're not below us. We see them as they are, and we ride alongside them through their journey through recovery.
Now, do you guys have programs at all these different places too that you do for your I don't know if I want to use the word clients, but people that come knocking on your door saying, I need help?
We do. I mean, we refer people out to different places. We also have curriculum that we work with our recoveries. We have a Rewired curriculum, a relapse prevention curriculum. Sky does an awesome DBT group at the park every Wednesday for her people. So we do a lot of curriculum-based stuff, but we mainly focus on goals and where our people want to be and what they need.
One of the biggest things that you can do if you're looking to be a mentor to that person is be accountable. Let them know when you're going to call them, you're going to say how things are going. It's a tough job. I'm telling you, it is a tough job, and sometimes it can get nasty. That's the unfortunate part about what you guys do by trying to help change the life of someone who's going through an addiction. I find it though that once the crack happens, just a little scene. That's all you need to get them to start thinking about changing what they're doing. Maybe and that. Oh, and I remember dealing with clients where they came in, with a different, with a horrible outlook, but when they left after their time, the outlook was different. The problem was they had to go back to the same environment. I'm sure you guys find that an awful lot, don't you?
Yeah.
We do, and unfortunately, with a lot of that stuff too, is the housing issue as
Yeah.
well. Getting people with felonies into, apartment complexes or anywhere. People say, no, you have this felony, you have this charge, so I don't trust you. You can't be here.
So I'm glad you bring that up because that's a crucial component. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, we come up with ideas, but it's the execution part of it. I don't know this, so I'm just going to bluntly ask you. The people that come to you with an addiction, they probably don't have a lot of money, and if they do, they're probably using it for their addiction.
So majority of our people are already working on their recovery. So they're already out of that substance
Okay,
use
good.
and they have jobs. They just are living at a hotel or with people because they can't get their own place. We are looking into getting relationships with landlords. We have a couple that will work with people, but there's not enough.
Yeah.
And then
So
on
it's
top
a
of that,
cycle.
Some have jobs, but I have some that are trying to further their lives and better their careers. But again, it's the felonies
record.
that get them. I have one person on my caseload who has a multitude of charges, very bright person, can do many things in this life, but because of that background, they're turned away.
I don't know what the solution of that is.
Building relationships and just kind of trying to show
really,
the community, hey,
But-
people can recover and they are doing a lot better.
and they're not quitting.
Yeah.
They're determined to make a better life for them. That's when you can find that success. Especially in a job interview. Businesses are savvy enough to understand. Okay, you got a record, but what are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you involved in programs? Are you? But here again, because I don't know. I don't know what you can ask as an employer, and what you can't ask
And it's
without
just
violating.
getting in
Yeah.
front of the employer to even answer those questions.
Yeah.
Like they see, oh, you've got this felony, and they're like, oh, nope, we're not going to hire you. And I know you're not supposed to discriminate, but
How do you prove it?
right.
Exactly.
How do you prove it? And again, it's a downfall. But there has to be a way to make it work. Now I know
Yeah.
I know business owners that have hired
Yeah.
felons and
Oh, yeah.
and have records. The thing is, how committed are you? Unfortunately, there's those who I'm sure you've probably had come talk to you and put on the show that and probably because they were told to by a judge, you need to be
Right.
showing
Yeah.
that you're making progress in fighting your addiction.
And there are the slim few who don't want help and
Right.
don't want to do what they're supposed to be doing and only, like you said, show up because they have
Supposed
to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's got to be frustrating.
Very.
That's
Yeah.
got to be.
But we're planting seeds.
Yes.
We always let them know too if they come to that point where they don't want to meet with us anymore or they're not meeting at all, like, hey, we're still here for you. The door is open. So when you want the help, we're always there. We've never left it where they can't contact us at all anymore. We're always there to catch them if they fall.
Yeah. And that's perfect. I mean, that's the best one can do is to be by their side, and if they even come into that scenario that got them in trouble to begin with. I unfortunately, I've become a little bit of a hard person on this. When you're an addict and your environment just simply won't let you go, you got to burr up and you got to say, I need to do this for me, for starters, and then change. You know, you're gonna have to, and while you're going through this addiction, I mean, the programs, whether you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you also need to find out whether or not you can get out of the environment you're in. And
Absolutely.
that's the tough one, because that environment, 9 times out of 10, allows you to live. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know, pay bills, say, you know, if you're doing everything right, you still have to do it in that environment that got you in trouble to begin with, because you're kind of starting from ground zero.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes, and it's not sometimes, it's about, I dare say 90% of the clients you're seeing still have to go back to their environment that they were getting in trouble in to begin with, or where the
yeah.
addiction started.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know, listen, we're broken people, and sometimes, it's you've got a very frustrating job. You really do, but it's rewarding when you get,
Absolutely.
if you get one. I found out when I worked at BHC, if I could just get one, it's all worth it. It really is. But you got to have the patience, and and that sometimes, I bet you guys kind of, and when you're done talking to your clients and stuff, you sit back and go, "Phew, I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore, but here I am, a shining star to say you can do it." It just, you got a great, it's hard to say this because your blood pressure is probably up every day, you know, your anxiety is probably even higher, but you're, in the end of it, you're helping people. Is that what the satisfaction is for you guys?
Oh yeah, just to see their successes. You know, they have struggles, but to see the people that we work with and just watch them grow and succeed and do all the things that they told us at the beginning, I want to do this, get their kids back, get good jobs.
Get their license, their car. I had one girl who was just happy as I said, I actually bought this. And this was the first time I actually bought an item that
There
was
you go.
this,
That's a win.
instead of
That's a huge win.
just snatching it up. And I was proud of that. You know, it's the smallest things.
Yeah. It may be baby steps, but they're actually gigantic steps.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they may not look at it that way, but it is. It's a step in the right direction. You know?
Jessica's really good at emphasizing those little successes for people. It's really enjoyable to watch, for sure.
And I'm glad you guys understand that's a part of healing.
Yes.
Because really, for an addict, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You're healing.
Yep.
You know, it takes work.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes I bet you guys, because I was able to, when you know you're getting BS'd, and when you're and when
Yeah.
you got one person who's sincere of making a life change to get on track. You know. Now, I know I would handle your job differently than I would, because I'm more direct. You know, and you could call out someone who's putting on that little show, because actions
Yeah.
speak louder than words. You know, and sometimes when that person that's getting questioned by someone who's there to support them, they'll try to lie. They'll try to seem like everything's okay. But there are certain words
That you can use
that
and get.
that's right. You know, out of curiosity though too, and this is another frustrating part of what you guys do. It's got to be the family support. Is it there or is it not there? And if it is there, what are they doing to support? Other than probably screaming at them, get the hell out of here, get out of the environment you're in, change friends. You know, again, that is easier said than done.
Right.
Yeah, that may be probably a good move, but if you're not making any money, or barely making money to make a living, because you have to be in that environment because it just happens to be what you can afford, you know, you can't just pack your bags, get up, and move someplace.
So I just got trained to be a craft facilitator, which is an educational group for family members. So once Sky and I look at that, we are going to try to have a family educational group to kind of help with what you just talked about.
That's crucial.
Yes.
And there have been times where we've had family members come with them to meetings, and we've sat down and we've kind of helped discuss and educate the family member on what addiction is and like what that looks like for them. And you know, and we kind of sit down with them all together, and they get to explain how they feel about it on both sides, and everyone just is in a calm, controlled environment that way.
Absolutely. That's key. It's got to be in a controlled environment, you know? And it's probably the first time they've actually sat down and talked with each other.
Oh yeah.
about
Without
the
screaming.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, and that's great to hear. That's great to hear. So how do you guys get contacted if someone calls, or how do they know to reach you guys?
We have a flyer up in the jail. We also work alongside Brittany Tremaine, who works in the JCAP program at the
We
jail.
love Brittany.
She's amazing.
She's awesome.
We do get referrals from community corrections. One day even there was someone who I noticed was a cashier at the Burger King who was struggling, and I gave her my card, and she was on my caseload the next day.
Aw.
Like, we get referrals from everywhere. Even some of our people, you know, they refer friends or family members. At a lot of my recoveries, some of their children also struggle, and they refer them to programs like ours.
But if you are in the community and you want help, Bowen Center is always the place to be like, I want a peer recovery coach from Marshall County Hope, and they can then send the referral through that way.
You know, Marshall County Hope is a necessity.
Yes.
And I got to admit, I'm surprised two of you guys have carried the load for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need more of you.
Yes. Well,
Truth
we
be
are
told.
grant funded.
I know,
and
I get that. But I'm just seeing too.
we do need more. Yes.
not
Absolutely.
We agree.
for the caseload you guys probably get,
Yeah.
and who you see on a daily and nightly basis, probably even 2-3 o'clock in the morning calls on command. There's only two of you,
Yeah.
and the problem's much greater than two people.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, and so what advice, I guess I should ask you this, for some people who are listening that understand just the importance of taking care of addiction in our community, and they may want to be involved. How do we do that? What needs to be done? Do they got to take classes? Talk about, you know, where do we get the ball rolling to help you guys out?
So, talk to the leaders, talk to our local leaders about, you know, getting other people involved in this. We have a monthly meeting through Marshall County Hope every single month, and we have people from community corrections that show up, a doctor from Bremen that shows up. Just getting the community around this, involved in this, trying to find the funding to support this for more than 2 years. And then they are offering at IB Tech CPSP classes that are free. So if somebody wants to become a peer recovery coach, they just have to sign up for that. And they can just go online and look that up.
There we go.
So,
Yeah. So there are ways of helping.
yes.
This right here, you two are part of the solutions.
Yes.
You really are. Because not too many people want to walk up to a person or ask if they're okay, or if they look like they're needing help. Anybody's wanting to do that. You two don't do that. And see, you're kind of diamonds in the rough, to be honest with you. But you understand through your life experience how important of getting out of an addiction situation truly is. You know, and I go back to you. You know, 7 years, man. I would imagine those 7 years prior to getting sober were just absolutely unfathomable now because of what
Yeah.
you've been able to do growing as a person.
Yeah, it's definitely been different. Just kind of like looking back, because I know a lot of my friends from back then too are also sober now. Some didn't make it, and some are still actively using, and that's, you know, I don't judge anyone where they're at, but it's definitely different looking at it, thinking, wow, that used to be what I was doing and who I was hanging out with, you know, and, you know, I always hope the best for those people. Don't ever get me wrong there. But it's a lot different, and it's better now, you know, to realize I can do a lot of these things that I thought I couldn't. You know, I had to be high to go do those, but now I'm like, oh, I can enjoy this just being sober, being
Just
myself.
being you.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, that's another component to recovery. You learn about yourself. You learn about what you can and you cannot do, or that you're going to need help in that is a struggle.
Yeah. Learn
You know,
your boundaries.
Oh,
You
yes.
definitely learn your boundaries.
Yes.
You definitely learn when you need to say no to people, when to walk away.
Right. And I'll tell you, I learned all that, learning how to deal with that through the BHC and the programs that they had us go through, just to understand, and not be judgmental.
Yes.
That's another thing.
So that's a big thing.
That's a
and
huge thing.
and the stigma is still real.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It's still
It
there.
is.
We're working hard every
Just go on
day.
Facebook. Just go
Yeah.
on Facebook and look at
it's
some of the
horrid.
dumb comments.
Yeah, I get so upset, but I just keep my comments to myself because I know that those are uneducated comments.
Right.
So,
Well, it is an issue, and unfortunately, we're finding that we've got more people than what we thought
Absolutely.
that are having addiction issues, and why
it's your
they are
neighbor
where
next
they're at.
door. It's,
Yeah.
it's the perfect put together person that you see every
You
day.
got that right.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the ones who are hooked on a drug or alcohol. Listen, there's
not-
a few people in here in this community that have gone through the same things, and a guy who's living
Oh, yeah.
at Red Rock
Right.
are going.
all
through.
have our struggles.
Hey, listen, don't be casting stones.
Right.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
And I do the other thing too, and I know, and I'm kind of using Nottoway as an example, but one of the reasons why the Community Foundation have worked with you guys, because they understand that like one out of every third person is going through an affliction.
Yes.
Yeah.
1 out of 3. That means every 30 people you walk by, guess what? That third one's got a problem
Yeah.
with addiction. That's a crazy, 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 stupid ratio, and it's scary. And like I said, and mental health is a whole new.
Yeah.
Do you guys deal with that too? And
We have a lot of co-occurring disorders.
yeah, see, I mean that's a whole new bag to talk about, reach in and talk about.
Yeah.
So like I said, I hope we can figure out a way to get some more help and more volunteers for you guys, because
Yes.
the need is beyond great. It affects our community, and we
Yeah.
go back to the housing part. Like I said, this is got to be taken a little more serious than sometimes I think is, because it's always taboo to talk about.
Yes.
It is.
And that's the problem. People don't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it.
Nope.
Our family members are like, just keep it hush hush because we want to appear on the surface very
We got
perfect.
this.
And then there's no help. So then that cycle just continues.
Well, and the other thing about the supporting from the family part, it's needed, but at the same time, what they feel the person, either their son or their daughter, needs to do is not exactly the route that needs to be taken.
Right.
Right.
And that too, and then there's your friction. That and then it's like, okay, we do need a controlled place,
Yeah.
somebody that's going to be there to listen and help us.
Yes.
That's the other part about it. And there are so many gosh darn factors that goes into trying to help someone who's going through an addiction that, it takes special people like you guys to work with them to continue to do it. And then understand you're not gonna be able to get everybody on the right track. At least not now.
Right.
Right.
It's all within their own time.
Exactly right. And that takes so much patience. God bless you
We
both.
tell everybody our job is to keep you alive so that you can get there. Because if you're not alive, you're not going to get there.
No, absolutely. All right, I'm out of time. Give me your date again. September 14th.
September 14th, Plymouth High School, 1 p.m.
Starts at 1 p.m. And how long does it go to? Do you know?
1 to 4?
So 1 to 4? Well, just be there at 1 o'clock.
Doors
Yeah.
open at noon. There will be food truck outside too. So
Okay. Well, I sure wish you two the best.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
I
for
appreciate it.
I'm sorry I controlled maybe part of too much of this, but I'm passionate about trying to help.
We
I've
need
been
passionate
there.
people.
we do.
I've been there. I've experienced it, and working through BHC, it's a marathon, not a 400-meter sprint.
That's right.
It's a long process to help people. But once we do, they realize they can do what we do, and we don't need to be relying on other things.
Sky's the limit.
It really is. And then when you have someone like yourself who went through hell before you said I had enough, and look what you're doing now. You're touching so many lives and using yourself as an example, Sky, that you go, all right, I found my calling.
It was actually crazy thinking about it because when I went to jail, when I was on probation, I had talked to my probation officer about wanting to do this way back then. And I was 20 years old at the time. You know, now I'm 27, about to be 28, and I'm like, oh hey, like this is what I do now, and I love it. Like this was my dream job back then. I wanted to do this. Granted, that was for juveniles, but now I still get to touch, you know, the hearts of people from teenage all the way until whenever they need our help.
Hey, the potential's there. The potential to change the lives of people who are suffering through addiction. It's real, and there are lots of opportunities to help get them, you know, to understand what they're doing to themselves and their families and the community. You know, some of this stuff can be real eye-opening. And, you know, like I said, we need more people to jump on, and if we get some volunteers along the way, that'd be even better. So thank you both for coming in. Good luck next
Thank
Saturday
you.
at the high school with this, and, you know, Project Hope once again. And we got these two ladies here that are pretty special, so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we got to get out of here, so we'll take a break and wrap it up right after this on Max 98.3. Okay, my beautiful people, you have, I just enjoy these kind of conversations because everything seems to tie in, doesn't it? I mean, we talk about the housing issues and who they're for, and we talk about, and unfortunately, sometimes we put the cart before the horse and start labeling. You know, we got to stop and pull the reins back a little bit and understand what the real situations are. And I'm glad we had these two young ladies in to talk a little bit about what they do in helping families that are going through addictions, whether it be their son, daughter, nephew, mom, or dad. You know, and so like I said, it was a good show. I hope you folks kind of, you know, do a little bit of research and find out maybe how you can become involved in helping touch lives like these two ladies do. All right, we're out of here. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine. We're expecting rain later tonight, so if you got any plans, you should be okay. At least we're hoping. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, bright and early on the Max Morning Show. Have a great day, everybody.